Let's dive right into China's population is declining. Last year's birth numbers for China recently came out, and it was the lowest since 1949. What was the population of China in 1949, you may ask? It was only around 540 million people. So percentage-wise, it was a much higher birth rate than the 7.9 million we saw in 2025. Now, with over 1.4 billion people and about 11 million people dying every year in China, it will take a long time to have results of a large declining population. But the problem with a lower birth rate than a death rate is that it has a major changes for the economy. And I'm surprised to see this, that China's, I thought it was much lower, but China's life expectancy is 79 years old.
That is interesting. And I mean, the thing you look at is the population there is getting older, and there are fewer young people working to support the older generation that generally need more medical and social services. And when you look at an aging population, there's generally less need for housing, schools, and businesses because older people have less need for those services, which can grow an economy versus the cost of higher medical demand. I would definitely reemphasize this point. I think I'm going to say the go-go years of your 30s, 40s, 50s, that is really where economies can thrive because you have all these services, all these products. But I hate to say it, but a lot of times people 70s, 80s, 90s, not all 70s, 80s, 90 years old. We see a lot of active ones,
Right.
but there's many that aren't super active, so they're not really helping with economic output the same way that somebody in their 40s and 50s with, a few kids are.
Yeah, if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, you want to go out and have fun, go to restaurants, go to places. You get in your 70s, I'm just about there, just like, maybe you don't need to go out tonight. You just kind of slow down a little bit, and that can be a problem for the economy because no one makes any money when I stay home and watch a movie in my theater.
I guess maybe the Paramount Plus does or whatever streaming service. They're counting you as a
What was that,
subscriber.
$12 a month? They're making a little bit, not a whole lot.
But it doesn't have the same compounding effect.
Exactly. China also has a problem with immigration, and I knew this one, as they have over 300,000 people leaving versus coming in. So they lose a lot more than they come in. No surprise there. You may be wondering how the United States stacks up. In 2025, we had 3.7 million babies born and 3.2 million deaths in the country. I was surprised to learn that the mortality rate age in the United States is under China's. Ours is 78.4 versus 79. I mean, not a big difference, but I thought, because of medical and everything else here, we live far better. I think, this is just my guess, that they may have less stress in China than maybe we have here, maybe?
I don't know about that. I think, just culturally, and again, I'm not a China expert by any means, but I know a lot of the Chinese are very strict in different things. I was going to say maybe it's probably better health. If you look at the obesity rates in China versus the U.S., I'm just going to have to assume China is a lot better in that rate.
I think you're right. I think we have a lot more McDonald's here than they have over there.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say, on the flip side of that, China with all the factory and the smog and the ecological, what's the word I'm looking for? Not ecological, environmental factors. I would have thought maybe that would have had a negative impact there. I also believe China, they smoke a lot there. I might be confusing that with Taiwan, Cambodia, those kind of other Southeastern Asia countries.
I think you're right. I think the Asians do have a higher smoking rate.
So, it's close. 78.4 versus 79, but I think the reason ours is so close is, again, the obesity is much different here versus China. The other thing I always point out with China that I find very interesting is China, they always talk about their 2050 plan. They're so long-term thinking. I've said this before on the show, but when they came out with the one-child plan, it's like, that's not a long-term thought process. And that has really put their economy, their country in a dangerous spot where their birth rate is less than 1 versus their death rate. That is not a good spot to be in. And I think that is going to be very hard for that country to come back from over the long run.
And I think what they were trying to do, unfortunately, was they were trying to have more boys born than girls because boys can, work, produce, and so forth, and women. And this one didn't make any sense to me because, women have the babies.
Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, we weren't in the room. We don't know why they did it.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason this is just going off trying to recall history lessons, but
it was many years ago.
I think it was, they were having such large population growth, it was hard for the country to really have that many people coming into the country and take care of a society that was that big. So I think they tried to limit the growth, but then it really hurt them in the long run, I think.
Yeah, the growth rate was too high of people, and they couldn't keep up with it, so they reversed it too much. They should have maybe done 2 babies. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Or just not put a cap on it, because not everybody has a baby either. So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
other issue. But looking here at the United States, I mean, we do know with all the illegal immigration, the heightened status of what is going on with immigration in the U.S., it is hard to come up with a concrete number for comparison purposes. As you said, the 300,000 net negative in China, we know it's a lot different here in the U.S. as people do want to come to the U.S. And that really can help support a low birth rate and, again, continuing to grow the population.
Yeah, and there's things you can do that. And again, I think we'll go back to, hopefully, maybe next year, we'll be back to more normal immigration here in the United States, because it got so far to one side a couple of years ago. So now you got the opposite, what's going so far to the other side to kind of clean up the mess, I'll say. But we will get back to normal immigration, because we do want people coming here. We do want good people coming here to work and, be scientists, workers. And I mean, we need that. But we need to get back to a level playing field where say, okay, now let's have some people come in that can really help our country here.
I mean, good immigration is a net positive. You have more money coming into the economy. You have more people working, producing. I mean, it is good to have more people as long as you can handle that influx.
Yep, and I think we will get to that.